A truly irrational way of choosing a spouse is to go onto the street and find the best girl that you see and say, please marry me. That's irrational. If the girl says yes, that's scary. Because something isn't quite right. So what you do is you get to know the other person, right? So you get to know the other person and you see whether you enjoy being together. That's actually quite important. And you might ask your friends or people that you, in your community that you trust, what do you think of the two of us together? You do other things, like, for example, my wife and I did these kind of compatibility tests in our pre-marriaging, you know, where you have to fill out this whole long series of questionnaires. I see if you marry people shaking, they remember this day. You fill out these long forms, like how do you hold, where do you squeeze the toothpaste, and this kind of stuff. It's quite illuminating. But you don't marry somebody because you both score 95% on the compatibility test. There has to be something more to it. So the point is, there are irrational ways of choosing a spouse, and there are better ways of choosing a spouse, or hopefully better ways of choosing a spouse. But in the end of the day, you can't really use a scientific method to choose a spouse. And one of the reasons for that is in the scientific method, you do repeated experiments, and you shouldn't do repeated experiments in marriage if you can help it. The other thing about the scientific method is that you really want to know something pretty sure. But the point is, until you're married, you don't know what it's like to be married to the other person. So you're taking what's really a leap of faith. You gather some evidence together as well as you can, and then you take a leap of faith and say, well, I'm just going to see what it's like, because you don't know what it's like until you're married. So that knowledge is not accessible to you until you've made a step of faith. And I would argue that most really important knowledge has that kind of character to it.